Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Fact Sheet live on eTV, live on Facebook, live on Twitter and Instagram. Fact Sheet, it's all about the fact, nothing but the fact, and if it's not about the fact, we don't discuss it. It's about bringing out the truth in matters of national interest. It is about bringing out the tangents that are usually lost out in conversations. It is about setting the national agenda for the development of our nation, Ghana. It's also about speaking to the right resource persons who understand the issues we table for discussion. Tonight, as I welcome you to the discussion, we are taking off from a discussion we started last week, which has to do with the security of our nation, on the back of alleged assault of a colleague journalist by operatives of the national security. We sought to understand the national security structure, how it works, how it functions. We sought to understand what constitutes a national security installation, how we would identify what our rights, responsibilities are, and the way forward in dealing with the matter of our colleague, Caleb, and the national security. There have been several developments. For instance, the issue of the recall of Lieutenant Colonel Ajiman back to the Ghana Armed Forces. A statement which was issued by the National Security Minister. There has also been the recall of some 3 police officers. Would this suffice? Tonight, we will broaden the conversation to understand why and how these things happen, the relevance of the National Security Ministry in today's security setup. We'll delve into other areas to understand how this is fused into governance, and so I encourage you to stay with me. My name is Samuel Ishen, and tonight our focus is on the security of our nation, from the perspective of someone who has been at the helm of affairs when it comes to the security of our nation. He's been someone who has been in the affairs of our politics. He's been someone who understands how decisions are taken at the top when it comes to the security of our nation. Tonight on Fact Sheet, I encourage you to join me with your thoughts, your views, your comments on our WhatsApp line 020-2222-067 and on our Facebook wall, eTVGhana. So we share our minds on the issues to do with the security of our nation. My name is Samuel Ishen, and in a bit, I will introduce to you who my guest is, and then we'll start the conversation. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Fact Sheets Live on eTV. Tonight, my guest is an individual who has been the Chief of Defense Staff before. He's been the National Security Advisor before. He's had stints with different political parties. He's been the campaign manager for present President of our nation, Nunoo Akufo-Addo, in 1998. He's been with the PNDC before. He's been with the NDC, and now he's with GUM, if I'm correct. My guest tonight is Brigadier General retired Joseph Nunoo Mensah. Sir, good evening and welcome to Fact Sheet.
Thank you very much.
I trust you're doing well. I trust you're doing well.
I'm well, very well indeed.
It's been a long time we had a conversation. The whole of this year we haven't met to have any conversation.
No, this year, no.
All right. So let me start with, your expectations, going into the elections 2020. You were with GUM. Yes. Going into the elections. The outcome of the elections, did you consider it free and fair?
I knew that given what Ghana's elections have become, we weren't going to win the election from the point of view of GUM. But I felt that if someone like me would abandon the NDC and the MPP and join GUM, I was trying to make a very strong political point. That the 2 parties were leading Ghana into oblivion. They were not going to achieve anything. I felt that long ago. In fact, President Rawlings, late President Rawlings, I went to him, became a good friend of mine lately. And I told him I was leaving the NDC, the MPP, and go to GUM. In fact, he encouraged me to go.
Former President Rawlings,
yes.
he's the founder of the NDC, encouraged you to leave the NDC?
Because he felt that I told him the two parties were achieving nothing. Ghana was getting nowhere. He risked his life 1979, May 15th, June 4th. In the end, he found that he had achieved nothing. So, in fact, before, was it about a year ago, NDC's 31st December revolution was, anniversary was held in Winneba. I don't want to remember this. It was in Winneba, my hometown. In fact, that's a school that I attended, and I gave a speech. A very, very boisterous, written down speech. I didn't want to be quoted out of context, so I made sure I read the speech. And I said, I condemn all the revolution, all the characters we lost, the June 4th. He was sitting down there. Your mama was sitting down there. And I said, we achieved nothing. Because Ghana is now more rotten than before June 4th. It was nothing he said. There are people like me, Sammy, who don't fear to speak the truth. And I think that one of our major weak points in Ghana here, that we lack the courage to speak our mind. That Ghana is going down. I've been around for more than 80 years, so one of the Ghana is going down. I'm speaking from evidential viewpoint. I'm not just...
Give me the pointers that informs your position that Ghana is going down.
Let me give you a few examples here and there.
Okay.
You came to my house yesterday to record this program. You couldn't do it because the power went off.
Yeah.
I was chief of defense staff seeing that house there, which I built in our champion's time. It cost me 50 pesos today to build a whole house where the chief of defense staff was living in. 5,000 OCDs. The currency is now completely useless. My salary was 1,200 OCDs, 12 pesos as chief of defense staff. And I could live like an Arab sheikh. The old CD could buy one bag of cement. So 10,000 CDs today could have bought 10,000 bags of cement. This was, I'm not the economist, but frankly speaking, the economy has collapsed. But we failed to. Look, I bought plantain 2 days ago. I went to also market. It was 3 CDs a plantain. That was more than the house at the building in which I live. And you tell me the economy is improving. Even if I were blind, I would feel the pain in my tummy. I don't have enough food in my tummy. So don't let us kid ourselves as if, you know, if you say the truth, you are the opposition member of the NDC or vice versa. But Sammy, let's get the courage and speak our mind.
But do you get a sense we don't have the courage to speak our minds?
Today, look, if Ghanaians had the courage, and I'm not saying that I'm extra courageous person. I remember when I was a captain, I had a course done in March. That was 1967 or thereabout. And it was a Canadian officer who gave me a report. And he said in the report that when Captain Mensah doesn't speak much, when he opens his mouth, it's full of sense. I don't speak unless I have something sensible to say. I was in Sandhurst some 60 years ago. I saw my report a few years ago. I never saw it before, what the British thought about me. And one of them said that you don't know whether it's pro-British or anti-British. You know, what if I have nothing sensible to say, I will not say it unless I have something sensible to say. I don't want to be in speaker because I've said all that we are going to talk about this. I've said over and over again, and nobody seems to care or listen to us. So as if I'm just wasting my time. You talked about me, or maybe not yet, involved with education. I've been involved with education for the past more than 10 years, building about 6 school blocks. Winneba Secondary School I attended. You didn't have teachers there in those days. We were going to actually put a net at the beach to get fish to feed ourselves in secondary school. And yet we became chief of defense staff from that background.
I'll take you to the point about education, but let's stay a little bit longer on the last elections, the 2020 elections.
Yes.
Would you consider the elections free and fair?
Elections have never been free and fair in this country or elsewhere. Even America, they're fighting for the last election. It's always, you know, this world is a funny world now.
So you don't believe the observer missions and the reports they write about how free and fair our elections were?
The word happy and fair I have stood for election before. Look, I was standing in Winneba 1997 for the MPP. And one polling station, I saw the pink sheet. In those days, not a pink sheet, some sheet, which at the polling station. And in figures, I saw 60, S-I-X-T-Y, for a party. When it came to West, they have put 2 in front of the 60, it became 260. I mean, and I saw many horrifying things. And I began to lose faith in democracy. If this is democracy we're talking about, I went to the MPP in 1996 because I felt that, having left the army for all these years, and saw Ghana drifting into the oblivion, drifting, something had to be done. But not from party or the military, from political, because we have accepted politics from the barrel of the ball, not with the barrel of the gun. So I couldn't go back to Bama camp and pull my gun, but this time I'm wearing a political uniform, smoke and whatnot. When I saw how the politics was being played in those days, it was ugly. So I'm at a loss right now what to do about the future of this country. When you speak the truth, you abandon an enemy. Yet that is the truth. And if I was to dilate on, to go on this issue for a long time, it goes back to military regime. I've lost faith. Even my great admiral in Nkrumah, the Preventive Detention Act.
Yeah.
I regret a lot about that. Nkrumah was a great man. But when people in the CPP failed to have the courage to tell him that the way we were going was wrong, I felt sad about it. That we lack the courage. Today we have the NPP in power, NGC, Rollins, all of them. Even with the General Champions Akufo's regime. I'm always able to speak my mind. But then, if it didn't speak my mind, what was being discussed was wrong, but it was going to be accepted. In a few occasions, it was reversed. But they knew that they were going the wrong way.
It's interesting the point you made about the country slipping into oblivion. Now, funny enough, a person you were campaign manager for some years back is now the president of this country, and yet you say that this same person you were campaign manager for is leading this country on the path of oblivion.
I'm just talking from the evidence that I have on hand.
Has he changed, the man you knew then and today?
No, I haven't seen the president for some time. He promised to see me, but he hasn't seen me.
But his actions, you see his actions. Has he changed? His governance for the past 4 years. Is it the same man you knew then who is ruling this country that you're saying is going into the abyss?
You see, one I've learned, people don't change. Maybe physically, my hair is a bit gray, but what made me who I am, it hasn't changed at all. And I have an argument with my wife. He said, I didn't know that you are like that. I said, I don't be observing me very well. I've not changed. People don't change. They remain the same. There are few, changes here and there. But who you are, if you go and dig, go back into your past and see who you were and whether you have changed. You haven't changed. You see, so only we don't observe well people that we are examining. We don't observe them well. But they don't change. Only time will tell. But what I'm saying here is that MPP, I joined the MPP in 1996. I was in Britain for 10 years. I came back and didn't think that we were playing the politics the right way. I had to quarrel a lot, make a lot of noise in the house. My wife said, look, why make nobody's hearing you? So go to Parliament and make your case there. So I had to join the party. Well, I couldn't join the NDC. I just resigned from the NDC. So I wasn't there. But I didn't believe that my temperament was what NPP stood for. A fisherman's son joins the NPP, no. I'm a people's man by nature. By nature. So it was just because I wanted the party to align with. But I didn't think I had what NPP stood for.
What do they stand for?
Well, what is the NPP? NPP's motto is what? Development in what?
But
you see, people come to power. I was with Nkrumah for a long time.
Would I then be fair to describe you then as an opportunist if you knew that this was a capitalist political party and you didn't believe in the ideals, and yet for wanting to go to Parliament, you chose to side with them?
The point is that I want to make Ghana change. But how do I achieve my aim? Sometimes you have to behave in a way to get what you want. Not that I believe in what they were doing. No. But I couldn't go to Parliament independent and get any platform to speak. You couldn't do anything.
Why not?
Nobody will listen to you.
No, but you are a man of the people. That's how you just describe yourself.
But when they come to vote, one man against the rest of them, how do you get anything done?
No, but if you are the man you say you were, and the people knew you and believe in the values and principles you speak about, they would have voted for you even if you had gone independent.
That's the reason why I joined GUM. I knew GUM wasn't going to win, but I believe in what GUM stood for. Reincarnation of Nkrumah and Nkrumah politics coming back. What I believe in it. But there was no other way I could have achieved that. Because I knew GUM wasn't going to win. GUM didn't have the money and the resources to win power. But I wanted to make a point. But Ghanaians also didn't understand what GUM stood. They never listened to GUM. I went to Agumwa Afransi, not far from Aguna Suedro, campaigning there. And the young lady was saying, Mama is sick, yeah, and to Abama Muda. But I remember was sick, you would see you. Me sacrifice mo at me 84 na me but to my is woman all number we see Mosca I know can be bio. But that's the mentality of Ghana. It's very sad, but this can never change. There's too much illiteracy, too much ignorance, that I don't believe that in my lifetime I would say Ghana will change.
I wasn't going to go to education, but since you talked about illiteracy, here's the case we have free SHS, something which previously was not there. Wholesale education. Is that not curing the issue about illiteracy you're talking about?
You see, when you have these politicians don't behave truthfully. I make a general statement. Look what happened in America, Trump and others.
Yeah.
You know, and I can go on and on all over the world. The opportunists. And I never was ever going to go to school. I don't know how I went to school. I was fishing. I was about 8 years old. But I went to school and made it to this point that where I am today. I don't believe that. They believe that whoever made a point believe that when they make free education, it will improve the lot for anybody. No. It was to get power. And Ghanaians like everything free. So promise this and that to them, and they will vote for you. But I didn't believe that. They believed themselves that it will achieve anything. Look, today I sit before you. I went to school late. Spent 3.5 years in secondary school. 3.5 years secondary school. It was 5 years then. I came out with grade 1. A fisherman's son. Nobody taught me anything. And I knew that when we give free education the way it's being done today, you meet somebody who had just left school. You think that the president didn't even go to any school at all. You can't remember any simple equation, simultaneous equation, inequality. You can't remember anything. And I left school 60 years ago, and I can remember everything. More than 60 years ago. So, to be truthful to ourselves, you know, the education that we are practicing today, it's achieving nothing. It's just a waste of time. No longer I'll teach you
what are your benchmarks for saying that it's achieving nothing?
You go and talk to these who have just left school about who was Pythagoras, who was. They don't even understand.
No, but these things would have been taught them in school. If you look at the recent WASSCE results that came, the first batch of the free SHS who went in September of 2017, the performance was fantastic. It was awesome. So then, how do you then conclude that it's achieving nothing?
I mean, I'm speaking from personal. I'm from Winnipeg, and I was with them most of the time when we were secondary school. I mean, it was a fantastic school. It was terrible when I was there. Become one of the best schools in Ghana. But you look at the products, what's coming out. It's just going to, look, even up to, I didn't go to university. And I'm glad, I don't think I'm glad, but I had a better opportunity to go to the army and become who I am today. I didn't have to go to university. But at my level of education, there's nobody I can talk, whether you are doing law, or doing mathematics, whether you are doing medicine, I can challenge you. Because I'm well read. These people are not properly taught. You know, and if you come out with paper qualification, it doesn't mean anything.
So you think that the doubling of the intake of children or students who otherwise would have been home doesn't serve any purpose?
No, the quality of education, what I'm talking about the quality, not just the numbers. Not just the numbers that.
But in terms of quality, the outcome, the product,
the product
tells us that the results that came was good. It wasn't different from previously when we were doing the progressively free SHS. It wasn't different.
From my viewpoint, Sammy, I'm saying that not only was teaching my grandchild mathematics, but I was saying, she looked at me and said, "Granddad," he was confused that a man with his age that was talking so much mathematics.
Yeah.
I taught my children. My son is a doctor, and I'll teach them mathematics. When I was doing that, I was doing the teacher with them in Britain. You see, education is not just school. School is just the beginning. Beyond that, people who have done degree courses and so on, you look at their performance. I've never been to any school higher than O level. But the army has given me so much education all around. If we are talking law, I'll talk law with you. If we are talking medicine, I'll talk medicine with you. If we are talking whatever, very broad education. But we should broaden the outlook of our young children. But they are, just let's push on from this subject by saying that I'm not happy with the level of education. I'm involved with it. Orally was being closed down. They were not far from here. I sat them down. They were behind the cathedral. Yeah. As I heard it, I said no. The minister then was going to close down the school. In fact, they had been pushed outside. They were sitting outside they were just, you know where they were, behind the cathedral. Yeah. And I called the minister, and I said, "Minister, you won't close down the school." And I went and built it. I used to wake up 3 o'clock and build them this wonderful place at Opaegono, near Tishi. And, not being committed. We do all this just for political ends, but I don't think coming from our hearts. I don't know whether you'll be talking about the National Pledge, but I'll try to copy it. I just got it here. When you read the National Pledge and hear the spirit, when it was written, I don't know, I think that's Champion's time.
Before you go to the pledge issue, because I know we're going to go there, you mentioned it the other time when we were having our conversation. Let me just quickly take you, you've been mentioning the army so that you can help, my viewers and my listeners understand your perspective on the issues to do with, the security of our nation, especially when it comes to the recent events about the media and then the alleged assault of a media person. So far, we have been told that one Lieutenant Colonel Ajman has been withdrawn from the national security and he's been sent back to the Ghana Armed Forces. We have also been told that now he's the one who is going to head the 64 Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces, the command. What do you make of the entire incident where, in this day and age, a journalist is assaulted and the national security says he has been sent back to the Ghana Armed Forces and then he gets there and he's promoted? Is that the army you knew? Or is that the national security you knew?
The idea of getting the military involved in politics, it's all wrong. So this Lieutenant Colonel going back, I'm all for that. I don't believe that, and it started with our Champion's regime, 1972, when we were totally involved in politics, and I hated it. I disliked it. Because the military are unique. When we start getting the military involved in politics, all the smelly things done in politics, the military are going to get involved. And those who are professional hate it.
But this is an officer, or these are officers who were, attached to the national security. But national security is not political, is it?
No. Let me go back briefly, talk what is national security and how it started.
Yes, what is national security?
It is the institution that provide for our security as a nation. And that will include the military, the Army, Navy, and Air Force. The Army taking care of attack from outside by land. The Air Force by air and sea by the Navy. Then you have the police who take care of the internal security. So in my time in those days, it was very clear who did what. This confusion did exist. And then you needed to have an intelligence security system whose job was only to collect intelligence for president, for the Ministry of Defense, for whatever, to be able to make policies based on intelligence. It was never involved, never the way we see it today. I was intelligence, but I was army officer doing intelligence. Today, you get army officer, go to national security. What they are doing today was secretariat, which was coordinating intelligence for the office of the president, to be used by the president, to be used by the army commander, to be used by whatever. Not the way we are doing today. So get an army officer and take him to national security and say it's like security operative is wrong. I don't support it at all. So what they've done is actually to destroy the military as we knew it. A soldier goes to national security, not behaving like a soldier. A policeman goes to national security. It's not his job. His job is to provide security for Ghana, the policeman internally, the army chap externally, not to get involved in the collection of intelligence. I was in military intelligence. Our job then, I was an army officer, was collecting intelligence, because if you're going to go to war, you need information, intelligence about your enemy. That's our job. Both offensive intelligence and then defensive intelligence. Police will have a special branch. In those days, their job was to get intel for the police service until it was changed in Rawlings' time to BNI. But the idea, and then for the foreign service, also had the, what do you call it, they have a branch that also, you see many people who are diplomats. They are not diplomats.
All right.
They are
let me ask this question. If you were CDS,
yes,
and this matter had happened under your watch,
yes,
where the national security brought these officers back
yes,
to the army,
that's right.
How would you have handled the case of the Lieutenant Colonel?
What I would have done as Chief of Defense Staff, there's somebody we call the military secretary who does postings. This officer has come back. I know why he came back. You have to work out his post, where he goes from the national security into military, where he goes next. And what the MIs would have done was to look at his seniority, his rank, and so, and see where the opportunity to post him. Now, going to System 4, you know, I wasn't in the army when System 4 was created. I don't know, but it became like another problem. So going to System 4 didn't please many people. But that wouldn't bother me. System 4 is now today is a military unit. So he being an army officer and going to become what, the commander officer of System 4, I would have no problem with it. Provided, I believe in the military, you know.
Especially on the back of the preliminary report of the National Security Minister saying that they had been found to have done something wrong, based upon which their secondment had been revoked from the National Security.
What about was done wrong? You are not aware. I'm not aware about this information. You know, where I am today, I don't have enough information about the military. I don't have to. I left 40 years ago.
But investigations are supposed to be done by the military after he was recalled back to base. Now, when a soldier is being investigated, does he get posted to
who was to investigate? He came from national security. Why didn't they investigate and ask the military to investigate? Military doesn't know what he did.
Well, they said they have done their preliminary investigations where they have ascertained that certain things were done wrong, and so his secondment has been revoked and he goes back. Now, investigations are supposed to be conducted by the army themselves. And whilst we await that investigation, we hear that he's been posted. What would you have done in that instance?
You see, what ought to be done? You're asking me to explain what are military information, and I can't do that. What the press, people like you should do, get to the Ministry of Defense, that of Public Relations. The military are an institution of the state, and you are also the fourth arm of what? Of the realm. Ask him to tell you what is going on. Asking me to explain to you here. Somebody's asking the
but at least you have
a
fair understanding of the processes that goes on if an officer is deemed to have done something wrong. The processes, you understand them.
No, I don't know what you are saying right now. I don't have all the facts. You are the facts, you are in the media. So you ask me to explain something which I don't have the facts, and I can't do that. If I knew that you had done something, I didn't know all this. But I thought I was just posted away from the security into military environment. As CDS, it's a lieutenant colonel, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can post him. Beyond that, president has to get involved if it's a colonel beyond and above. And what I would have done was to call the MS to post him. But not if I knew what you were saying. If I knew what you were saying, I would have posted him.
What would you have done?
I would have to wait. Put him on extended leave or something. Get the facts out. And they decide based on the facts. I would have done that.
So you would have kept him, on leave?
Well,
investigated the matter
under what? Under investigation.
Yes.
You don't post him if it's under investigation. I wouldn't have done that. if I knew. But I didn't know what you were telling me now. It's not my business. After 40 years in the military, left the military to get involved with the military. But I knew that the military is a fine institution.
Is it the same military you knew then that you see today?
No, the military have changed. Many things have changed in Ghana. Things are never the same as I knew them. Never, and nothing is the same.
Are you happy with the military today?
If I ask me to make a choice, no, I'm telling you, the military, I still have a lot of respect for the military. Even though I wouldn't support or approve of everything they are doing. But of all the state institutions, the military are probably our best bet. If they go, Ghana is gone. You see, Ghana has gone through some really terrible phases. But the military, in those days, in Nkrumah's time, Achampol's time, SBR time, you know, there was this coup of 1967, abortive coup. I don't know whether you know about it. Yabo and this. You've gone all through all that. But the military stood strongly together and disciplined. We were able to actually to overcome the challenges that we face. Today, you won't be able. You will explode.
We find the military being attached to, you know, units and patrols, even in elections coverage. They are, you know, combined with either national security operatives or the Ghana police, and they are doing patrols and all of that. Are you happy with that development?
No, I'm saying, I've told you something that it is wrong. I will never get the military involved in anything but military work. So when you get the military doing what they are doing, you are destroying the army.
Would you as CDS allow for the military to be involved in, for instance, Operation Halt that is going on with the Galamsey issue? Would you have allowed your officers to be part of it?
Yes, let me tell you a bit of my own history. In 1982, I resigned from the PNDC. That's about almost 39 years ago, based on this very issue. When the military got involved in politics, and I couldn't stomach it, so I left. Top of the Rollins, it couldn't be changed, so I left. That's one of the main, if you saw my letter of resignation, I don't know whether you have seen it before, 3.5-page letter, I resigned.
Okay.
Who has resigned from Ghana Army before, or Ghana Police Service? Who has resigned, apart from me? Nobody. But I left everything and went away. I was sick and tired of it. That's what will happen to me if it happened today. I will go. You see, we have certain principles that define who we are. If you go against them, no, I will leave everything and go away. When I left, I want to have a cassava farm at Aboba. I was growing cassava to feed Ghanaians. When I left the PNDC, I left. You see, it's more honorable to do what you believe in than to be coming here with Land Cruiser and all these stupid, expensive vehicles and CDS and so what.
There's an important question. I remember, if my memory serves me right, at some point you and a few others were banned from going to...
2008.
That was 2008,
yes.
Banned from going to security installations.
Yes, right.
Now, fusing that into the current issue of this journalist who went into a national security facility, per the report, falsifying, you know, his identity to enter into that facility, and the brouhaha that has erupted. Do you get the sense we really have an appreciation of what a security installation is?
When you go to the American embassy, there's a board on the fence. Photography is not allowed. And there clearly telling you that's not allowed. You know, and if you are in the media and you go to any area which has restriction like military or something, you should know that you couldn't do that, or you ask permission. I was once in Washington, and I wanted to photograph something near the White House. The policeman, I asked him, policeman, can I photograph it? I asked him. Otherwise, he just shoot me dead. I knew that.
Can someone be shot dead for taking a picture at a place which has been demarcated, a restricted zone?
But America, you see what horrible thing happening with Freud. What?
No, but that's a rare. That's
no, it's not rare. They are killing every day. There were 12.
No, but
it's not rare.
We are talking about a national security installation where it's properly demarcated. That this
you should be careful because you could. A friend of mine, one of your friends, was going to interview me, like we are doing today in Birmingham. I said no, we couldn't do that. I have to write to Chief of Defense to allow me to walk in there and you talking to me. It's an area with some kind of restriction. So you, the media, also should know that when you go there, you know, it's a blue gate. Yes. And you're taking photographs.
Yeah.
There will be some reaction to that. There was some mistake there. But the way they were handled wasn't the way it should be done. You see, national security has now become like a Gestapo, like a German, which wasn't the case. Before, they were better, you don't know who they were. In my time, other civilians who collect intelligence from the BNI, from whatever, not the people that we have today in the national security, beating people up, you know, like George Floyd. A man put his elbow on a man's throat and killed him. That's barbaric. You don't do that. You know. So a lot has changed. Become more militant, more boisterous, more, you know, not the nature of Ghanaians. We've changed. And I'm saying that we have to go back to the real national security installation that we were. The military were, when, in those days, when I was in Burma camps, I mean, for 3 months, I wouldn't come to Accra. When you say soldier in Accra, there's trouble. When a soldier points a gun at you and say, move, you know that he's going to fire and kill you, not to wound you, to kill you. You know, the military come on the scene, they've come to shoot, to kill. The military come, they come to shoot, to kill, not to maim, not to shoot in the air.
How would you describe a civilian taking a picture of a security installation and is arrested? How would you describe that act?
No, I would have, it was extreme. It should have been warned. And again, like choosing it from the American viewpoint, put a sign there. Photography is not allowed. Warn the people. In Britain, when I'm driving, the speed cameras are here. They warn you that the cameras are there, so slow down. We want you to commit a offense and then deal with you. It shouldn't be like that. Prevention should be better than cure. So all in all, I'm saying here that the approach to national security today, not the way it should be. It become too political. There be too much involvement from area of politics. NDC comes to power, put their men there. MPP the same. It's not the way to go.
How dangerous is it to take a picture of a security installation? How dangerous is it?
No, you don't know what purpose, for which purpose it's going to be used for. Not taking pictures. It's not dangerous. But for what purpose are you taking picture? Today, Israeli go to Gaza and pinpoint and blow up a whole house. You know how they got everything done. There are men working, Mossad operative working in Gaza, collecting evidence and send them back with all the modern gadgets we have today. I can sit here, and you'll be there, and this bill will be taken out. So not the picture itself, but the purpose of that picture, what people are worried about. So don't do it.
If the picture is to serve the national interest in terms of, and that's an area we'll come to shortly, the fight against corruption. If that picture is to serve that purpose.
No, there was nothing wrong with the picture taken, but what I did wrong was to have gone to some authority there and tell the authority what we are here to. You are from such and such a place, and we are here for that purpose.
Obviously, you'd not be given that chance to enter to take that picture.
Then what you are doing is illegal. But the reaction to that illegality was not the way it was done. I wouldn't have done it that way. No, I wouldn't do it that way.
All right. We'll take a short breather. When we come back, we'll have a conversation about the fight against corruption. 4 years, his assessment of the NPP administration and the renewed mandate for them. If possible, take his views on the election petition and the outcome of that petition, whether he was satisfied with the Supreme Court Justice's position on the matter. We'll be right back. 15 minutes to the top of the hour 9. Still watching Fact Sheet live on eTV. I'm here with Brigadier General Joseph Nunoo Mensah. We're talking about a myriad of issues. We've dealt with issues to do with security, issues to do with governance, issues to do with education, and much more. The fight against corruption is one of the issues that the 2016 elections was hinged on. Do you see it's been fought by this administration within its first tenure?
I believe, Sammy, that we are losing that battle. Just walking the streets in Accra. When I was going out, there were about 4 cars in Winneba. Today, there's traffic jam in Winneba. People are poor, but how they manage to get the money to buy these cars, I don't know how they do it. You know, if you go by there, I was intelligent before. We knew how much every army officer was earning, but he wasn't involved in any private business.
Okay.
So if you, Sammy, was a captain, were driving a Land Cruiser, you will question how you came by that Land Cruiser. Today, but everybody driving Land Cruiser, everybody driving Barracuda, I mean, everybody driving a car, and even a Bevis, punching above his weight. I mean, and you know, it's terrible. Cars, young boys are able to buy 3-liter Mercedes-Benz car. A young boy, first car he's buying. I couldn't believe it. So it is obvious that people are being corrupted by the way they are living.
Let's look at the political class, because the political class have promised us that they were going to fight corruption and rid the system of corruption. Have you seen that effort being done?
If you want people to be less corrupt, you must lead by example. Today, even though I built more than 6-7 school blocks, if you saw the cars I drive, you would think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm trying to live the way I want you, some others to live. I cannot live otherwise and say you should live like a hermit when I'm living like an Arab sheikh. So those who are in political authority should lead by example.
Are they fighting corruption? Do you see them fighting corruption?
No, because if they're living opulously, living like the way they're living, they couldn't be fighting corruption. They couldn't.
Why?
Because their lifestyle.
I mean, does being a politician necessarily mean?
No, I'm not saying go and drive
you can't drive a Land Cruiser, which the state is buying for you.
If I want my children to behave, to live the way I live, I should live in a way to teach them how I want them to live. So if you're a politician asking young people to be less corrupt, your life must not be endorsing corruption. If you are today, if you went to Japan or went to Germany, you see big cars on the street more than here, more than in Germany or in France. No, you see big cars, heavy cars, and yet we are extremely poor. How do you manage it? To drive these big cars by being poor? Means we are corrupt. I mean, we are getting money from illegal sources, even though you can't prove. In my time, in the MI, no army officer could live. You will find out that either you are working for foreign intelligence company, group, and they are paying you money, unofficial money, which you are using, because your lifestyle must conform with the salary you are earning.
These Land Cruisers you speak of, when you were a national security advisor, you didn't sit in any of them?
I sat in one of them.
Yes, when was that not opulence then?
No, but if and that car, I never drove it in town. If you see, it's not something which I would endorse. And I mean, when I was leaving office, you've been asked to buy, you had a Land Cruiser and another smaller car for internal use, for house use. I came around somewhere on Ring Road, and my driver said, I was driving my own car. He was driving the car, I was in the car with him. He said, "Sir, why are you not buying the car they are giving you to buy?" I said, "It's corruption. The car, which is almost about 50,000 cedis, you get 5,000 cedis, is corruption. And I will be part of that game. I take the car, go and park it." You see, when you are leading as a nation, you must try to live the way you want other people to live. Otherwise, you'll be failing in your job. You'll be failing. If I came to you and I'm preaching corruption, I'm preaching this. Look, you know why I started building the schools? I had 2 salaries. I was retired, and me paid a good retirement pay. Then I worked as security advisor to the president, and I was being paid. I said, "This money, I don't need the money. Let's invest the money in the people." This is where the national pledge comes in. I pledge on my honor to be loyal and faithful to Ghana and my motherland.
Are we not condemning when you generalize the statement about a young man who drives, let's say, a 3.0 engine capacity car? Technology makes it possible for the modern generation to do things without even moving an inch from their offices and from their homes and earn income, good income. And so if you generalize and say that the fact that the youth are driving 3.0 Mercedes, how is that corruption?
You see, what I'm saying is that when you walk in town, you see the amount of poverty, physically, see it on road. If I'm driving from my house near Soul Clinic to Danko Circle, what I see in that short distance convinces me that something is wrong with the way we are living. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Something is wrong. I couldn't be driving Land Cruisers. I want to build schools. The other day, I was driving Danko Circle with my daughter in heavy traffic. The young man almost parallel with me. said, General, you pay my school fees. I said, what are you saying? He said, you pay my school fees, I came to you. When traffic, cars were not moving. And I said, I don't remember, I don't know what I'm talking about. He said, you didn't pay my fees for a term or 2 terms. You paid for the whole 3 years I was in front of him. I said, what are you talking about? I didn't remember it. He said, I came to you. I don't remember it. That's what my parents taught me to be if I had money, not to spend the money, living lavishly.
But there are rich folks who are paying school fees of
I'm not saying that mine is unique. I'm not rich.
There are people who, middle class people who are paying
maybe you got a Land Cruiser, but I'm not coming after you.
Who are paying, how do you call it?
No, I'm not saying that what I'm doing is unique, but I'm saying there are more urgent things. We can't feed ourselves. I don't think we can feed people in secondary school today, given the state of our food situation. I don't think we are. I was with a secondary school, building a classroom, building a dormitory block. A young man came in the morning, about 8 o'clock, eating gari, without anything in it. I said, why are you eating gari? He said, I'm hungry. Where do you come from? From Wa. The father sent the son to Winneba, this distance, eating gari in the morning, and you are driving Land Cruiser. Some of them are mad without brains. Our parties are all put all the way around. You can't feed yourself driving Land Cruiser. For Christ's sake, feed yourself first.
Now, a nation that you say is sliding into the abyss, look at the number of structures that you see when you're driving. New buildings that are springing up. Look at the roads we drive on. Look at the technology which is in the country, how far it's advanced. Look at the institutions, higher learning institutions that are springing up. Is this a nation that is going down the drain?
I mean, if you my phone is around, if you get the phone, and the calls I've had, all begging for money, there be more than 10. I don't know.
But even the Bible says the poor would be with us.
Yeah, but the poor shouldn't necessarily. I would say my father was poor. We were never in need. Never ever in need. He had 1-bedroom house.
So you're saying during your generation when you were going through that, there weren't poor people in the system?
There were hardly poor people. I was campaigning in Winneba, 96, at the beach. I went to Winneba, a woman sitting down, looking very sad and horrible. And in Alanga, I said, I'm standing for election for the NPP. A military man from this town. He said, no, I don't know who you are. I said, then I mentioned my mother's name, and I said, this woman, my mother was an institution in Winneba. The woman began to cry. I said, why are you crying? He said, I think my mother just dead. So my mother, if she was alive today, there was no way I would be hungry. That's the society in which I was brought up. We fell for each other. You were humane. Today you are driving like people are hungry and you are passing them, throwing dust on top of them. And you say you are what? No, it is wrong. Let's put our parties right. Okay. Let's make sure that Ghanaians are well fed. They are paid to sleep. Then you can have fun. If you're having fun, when people are hungry, that is wrong. That's my view.
All right. There's a final question I need to ask you before the show comes to an end, and that has to do with your take on the election petition.
Yes.
And the matter of the EC chair not taking the stance. Should she have taken, considering the concerns the NDC raised?
My view on election petition is that from around the world, if you don't first have good, strong, factual evidence, and you go to court, you're wasting your time.
Did the NDC, from your point of view, present factual evidence?
I wasn't following it, but I'm saying that we have heard before, Jamama's time, NPP's time, it was thrown out. Why would it not be thrown out? If you didn't make sure you police the election properly at the polling station, you come and complain. And the man has been sworn in. Who's going to send me down and put you? It will never happen. So don't waste your time to go to court. Unless you have a very strong, irrevocable evidence of cheating, you're wasting your time.
But do you think the EC chairperson taking the stance would have made the case better in terms of our appreciation of our electoral process?
I, as a layman, here was the electoral commission who was the presiding officer for the presidential candidate across the country. You go and say what? You vote in Winneba.
But Afarijan did.
And you are saying that you were cheated by the MPP. And so she's coming and saying, defend what? Defend what?
So you are in support of...
No, I'm saying that, look, if you don't fight, I was standing with, I just said this, just now, that on one sheet, I saw 48 there.
260 or something.
Yes, and if you didn't do that, you come and say, the woman, was the woman there? She wasn't there. So those who are petitioning, look, GUM didn't have a case. GUM was cheated a hell of a lot, but we didn't have a case. People say you should feed them before they go to police the elections. How much money do I have to feed all of you people? People don't have the nation at heart to sacrifice, like the National Peg said, to defend Ghana with all my might, with all my heart.
In ending our conversation, performance
Yes.
of the NPP administration first term before the renewal, how would you grade them? 1 to 10.
No, Ghana, since 1966, Ghana has been taking a downward
Yes,
trend.
that is
So-
an established fact. But I mean, each
No,
of the
but
governments
we are going
was
down.
given
No
a
matter
mandate.
what they do, we promise to. We come and destroy Nkrumah's factories. All of them, destroy them.
Yes, but
And then you try say that I'm going to build new ones. Where are the new ones?
yes, but the point I'm asking is, between 1 and 10, how would you grade Akufo-Addo's government first term? Between 1 and 10.
I did mathematics long ago, so
Yes, I know your algebra and everything is intact.
No. I'll give you a summary of my view.
Yes, but you would have an assessment of their performance. How have they
No,
performed?
it's not based on facts. I mean, I don't have the factual evidence to mark them.
But you are saying that it is declining.
No.
It's-
When I go to buy plantain, which is the cost of my house, one plantain.
Can't that inform your ability to mark whether?
No, you say I should mark, but to be objective and give you mark. I know it's going down. None of the government system, Achampo did quite a bit of work.
And Mills didn't do much. You
Mills
were in his
Mills
government.
didn't have the time. We had 3 years, 12 years. How much
Yes,
could
but
do?
you could have done something.
No. And so we did something. I did something.
Was it declining within the 3.5 years?
No. If you were to draw a graph,
Yeah.
you start at the point.
So Mills's tenure, how was it? I would like to know. Mills's tenure, how was
No,
it?
I'm telling you that.
Was it climbing or
No.
did it climb a little and
3
decline,
years.
or it was still declining?
3 years. The seed that you sowed, they didn't bear fruits. The mama came and changed everything.
No, but
When
Mills's,
are people-
Mills's 3.5 years.
Yes.
Did it decline still?
No, I'm telling you that.
Or did it stabilize or did it climb?
The performance was look at what happened during the 3 years he was in power. Take the Ivorian crisis, for example, in politics, and the crisis we went through. Also, they will fear some. And they do.
But on Nanchan, maybe so
And then the economy.
during Mills's era, which were part of that government, did it stabilize? Did
No,
it
the point I'm
decline?
making,
Did it
the
climb?
time was too short. 3.5 years. What is 3.5 years?
Almost. It was close to an election.
No. See, 3.5 years.
Yes, it was
I can
close to an
assess
election. Yes.
So,
So we can judge his
you
3.5
really
years.
can make. You do a bunch of punch.
General, well, I am sure I'm not going to get the answer I'm looking for from you. So I'll end the conversation here. But I've had a conversation, beautiful conversation with former Chief of Defense Staff, former campaign manager for His Excellency Nunoo Dankwa for the day in 1998, and National Security Advisor, Brigadier General Joseph Nunoo Mensah. If you want to get the information out of him, and he says no, he won't tell you. Uncle, let me speak fancy a little bit. And you remember what I say. The agent meeting come on. But yet in come yet muka fancy to know ye. But you know saying you all right, so there'll be a repeat broadcast of the conversation going tomorrow at 10 a.m. on eTV. I'm grateful that you made time to join us tonight. My name is Samuel Ishem. Let's meet next week Tuesday. Good night.